So, hey everybody, welcome. My name is Tiana. I'm the marketing director here at Thank Me Later. So excited that y'all are here. We have the amazing, the beautiful Carol Jones. Hey, Carol.
Hey y'all, I'm excited.
Hey. Carol, could you give the ladies a brief intro about who you are, your background, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. I am Carol Jones. I'm an insurance professional here in Georgia. I've been in the business for about 34 years. Actually, it'll be 34 years on September 1st. So I always tease people and say I've only had two jobs, Six Flags and insurance. So this is all I know. This is what I've been doing my entire life. I went to school here, of course, in Atlanta, Georgia, and then I went to college at Spelman College. And like I said, I've been working in insurance for the last almost 34 years. I run my agency along with two full-time employees and one part-time person, and I enjoy what I do. I can't think of anything else that I'd rather do. And so this is my passion, and I love helping people navigate these waters of insurance.
And before we dive in, Carol, how did you get into insurance? Like you said you had Six Flags, but I worked at Six Flags too. Random, but I was in the retail. How did you find, or did insurance find you? Like, how did you land here?
Well, actually, like I said, I was in college, and my uncle is an insurance agent. And so I've always been really, really close to him. And he told me when I was in college, well, if you want to earn some money while you're in school, then you can come and work with me part-time. So my whole plan was to finish school and then go on to law school. Well, the more I worked with my uncle, the more I enjoyed it. And I realized that in a lot of ways, I was really, really good at placing coverage, helping people figure out what coverages they need. So when graduation came, my uncle kind of looked at me and he was like, so what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't want to leave. I think I want to stay with you. So long story short, I ended up working for my uncle for a total of 20 years. And then I branched out on my own, worked at my company's corporate office for a year. And now I've been in my own agency for 13 years.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, awesome. Well, we'll dive on in. Thank you for that background about you. Ladies that's on the call, a few housekeeping notes. So we will be doing Q&A at the end. So though this session is all about car insurance, Carol is a wealth of knowledge about insurance overall. So if you have homeowners insurance, renters insurance questions, umbrella, personal articles, feel free to drop them in the chat. And so toward the end, we will do Q&A. And so also make sure you stay muted throughout the duration of the presentation part. But I use presentation very lightly. We want this to be very fluid, very informal, just conversational. So we'll be sharing our own stories. Carol will be sharing her expertise. So feel free to take yourself off of mute if you want to ask your question to Carol live during the Q&A portion, but we'll just ask you to make sure you mute your devices prior to. And you may be wondering, where's Janai? She's not here today, at least right now. She had an opportunity in New York. So exciting things. Check out her Instagram to see what she's been up to today. So I am filling in and holding down the fort, and we'll be diving in. So I'm going to share my screen. Would love for you ladies to, if you have anything that resonates with you, feel free to engage in the chat. And we're going to have a great time today. So super excited. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we will dive in. All right, hold on. I'm sorry, ladies. My screen's acting crazy. Okay. All right. So I think you guys can all see my screen. So today, during today's Money Mindset Masterclass, we're talking about how to pay attention to your car insurance policy. And this is our car insurance orientation. So this month, we're switching things up a little bit. We're taking you to class. Coach Carol is taking us to class. Class is in session. So this is the precursor for our session next week, which I'll talk about shortly. So this is kind of, let's get our mind right, let's get our heart right, let's get our energy right to approach to think about how we approach our car in driving and our car insurance. And then next week, we're going to follow up with some really important information. So let's dive on in. Okay, if you guys can mute your devices again. All right, so just to back up a little bit, know that you all are, if you're attending, you're a part of our community, the Thank Me Later True Few community. So, hey y'all. But just kind of want to talk about all the things within Thank Me Later in case you are more new to our community. So we have monthly member programming such as this. We have a different topic every month, and I'll talk a bit shortly about kind of where we are on the 12-month calendar. So we have member programming. We have this Money Mindset Masterclass that we typically do towards the beginning of the month. And then we follow up with another live session that is on that topic, but I give it more meaty, I would say. So we have that. We have a real life series, which is kind of like a long form video content series to help you navigate real life situations. So the lovely Carol was one of our first subject matter experts to do some content on this topic. She did a session about young drivers. And so it's a lot of great content that's in the community. You can look in the real life topic to see what has been published. So we have that. We have the community, which we've talked about. We are launching a book, so super excited about that. It's called Take Care of Your Damn Self, how to graduate your young adult off your parent payroll. So this is going to be a go-to guide to stop financially supporting your young adult so that they are empowered to be self-sufficient. And then we have Black Women Will, which is our estate planning and educational content series and events. So that's kind of all that's within the TML landscape, and you'll hear a lot more about all of those different activations if you engage with us in the community. And friendly reminder to keep your devices muted, please. All right, so what do you need for today? For this Money Mindset Masterclass, you need an open mind, okay? Just really being able to be open in how you're thinking, be aware of the actions you might have been taking. Highly encouraged to have your cell phone handy. We use a cool tool called Mentimeter to get some engagement and interaction with you ladies. So have your cell phone handy. It will guide you through how to do that, how to use that tool. And then Lauren from the Thank Me Later team, hey Lauren, she will drop in the August download. So you don't necessarily need it for this masterclass, but it would be helpful for you to navigate insurance this month. So it is a resource that we provide. We have these downloads that we publish in the community and the first of every month. So in case you missed the August one, Lauren will drop it in the chat. So you guys can take a minute, settle in, shake your shoulders, and we are gonna get started. So this is the financial fitness wheel that outlines the 12-month calendar that I just mentioned. So this is where we are. How are we already at August? I don't know. It's crazy. But we made it halfway through the year. And so these are some of the topics that we've covered already. So we've talked about mindfulness and goal setting, taxes, career and business in February, organization in March, saving, investment, and retirement, which we rephrase as financial independence in April, credit in May, debt in June, budgeting and challenging your monthly expenses in July. And now we're at insurance in August. So if you missed any of the content on these topics, or if you need a refresher, you can always go back into the Thank Me Later community and watch the replays of our sessions, or our social media is amazing. Shout out to Courtney on our team who's on this call. You can always go back and look at our social media to get some more financial tips. So insurance, again, runs the gamut of homeowners insurance, renters insurance, umbrella, and personal articles. And today we're focusing on car insurance, since so many of us have cars, and we can be more mindful of how we approach our car insurance and how we drive, really. So that's kind of the lay of the land of the TML money calendar. And then next week, we have another session. So this will be our intro to car insurance. So again, today is orientation. We're getting our minds right, getting our peace, getting our zen, so that we can really do the work. So some of the things that we're going to talk about next week: how to choose the best deductible for your needs, what to do if you get hit by an uninsured or an underinsured driver, ways to save money on your car insurance, and tips for parents of teen drivers. So that will be next week. We also have some exciting announcements next week. So make sure you RSVP, okay? Lauren, if you could drop that into the chat as well, so you ladies can RSVP if you have not already. And real quick, before we dive into the topic, we have to talk about the book. Take care of your damn self. Okay, so super excited. Carol, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen real quick so I can see your beautiful face. What can we expect from your chapter? Kind of give the ladies a little preview, just a little bit.
I'm going to give you all just a little tidbit here. So I, of course, have car insurance and renter's insurance. I've noticed in my business, those are the two things that my young clients don't know enough about. So I'm going to give them some really good tips on how to navigate car insurance, how to navigate renter's insurance, how to assess all the things you own in your apartment or your small home or whatever the case may be. So that's my section of the book. I'm really excited about it. Happy to share information with all of you. So I'm looking forward to the launch and cannot wait to share the information.
Yes, I'm telling y'all ladies, like, by joining the community, you are like really about to level up with our subject matter experts like Carol, like the best of the best, the brightest, the experts in their field. I'm so excited. I've learned so much from you, Carol. So I'm excited for other people to be able to learn from your brilliance as well.
Thank you. Well, I'm definitely happy to share.
Yes, love that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to share my screen just so that we can keep it moving. So this is the preview of Carol's chapter, just to give you guys a sneak peek. It's coming soon, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. i.e., come to next week's session to learn more about the launch, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Keep you guys on your toes. Okay, and so just to kind of high level talk through a few takeaways from the book, just so that you understand kind of what we're talking about, and also see the twofold of like, though this book is specifically created to help parents of young adults navigate their children off their parent payroll so that they can stop financially supporting them and they can use that money for retirement and saving and traveling, starting a business, whatever their dreams are. What I find really valuable about the book is that even if you don't have kids or if you have younger kids, you can still gain so much from this book because it's really teaching you fundamentals about topics such as car insurance and renter's insurance, like Carol's mentioned, but also taxes, also credit, debt, just kind of in a way that you can really understand, apply to your life. So just to put that out there, though, we are targeting a specific audience. If you're like me and you don't have kids, but you don't know enough about taxes, you are definitely going to gain something from this book. So some of the things that you will take away is, again, learning how to step down from financially supporting your young adult. So not saying to cut them off, get so tired of financially supporting them that you're like, get out of my house and figure it out. It's truly a process. And we talk through the mindset shifts that you need to make to go beyond operating as their parent, their mommy and daddy, and step into your new role as a coach and an advisor, and also the step-by-step process for the different topics. And it's featuring our various amazing subject matter experts. So that's the book part. And then we have a workbook to supplement the book. And that workbook will really help you understand like how to do it. So we're, breaking things down, but it's like, okay, now I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work. So we have templates to help you understand how much to charge your young adult for rent, or how to calculate, the allowance you give them if you choose to do so, things like that. And we also have contracts to help you kind of set more boundaries with your young adult, so that they know what will happen, if they make certain moves. So what will happen if they lose their college scholarship, or what will happen if they decide to move back home? We're breaking down everything you need to know to be able to navigate them and help them be financially independent. So stay tuned for more on that. We're so excited. All right. So today, going back to our Money Mindset Masterclass, today's focus is to understand the financial and mental cost of not paying attention when driving. And y'all, I have a story. I'm a little embarrassed, but I told Carol I was going to say it. Whatever. Y'all go hear about my story. It's crazy. Understand the financial and mental cost of not paying attention while driving. Learn the notes you should jot down if you ever got in a car accident. So God forbid that happens. We don't want that to happen, but we want you to be prepared if it does happen, or if it happens to a loved one, so that they know how to navigate that. And then also understand the process to follow if you do need to file a claim. So that's what we're covering today. Again, class is in session. Drop your questions in the chat and let's get to it. So we like to start our Money Mindset Masterclasses with a money mantra, with an affirmation that's kind of centered around the topic. So today's affirmation, and would love for you guys to say it with me. I am protecting what I've worked so hard to build. Come, Carol, you say, I hear you. I can't see you.
Yes, I got it. I'm protecting what I've worked so hard to build. I love it.
Yes, I am protecting what I've worked so hard to build. So if that resonates with y'all, drop it in the chat. Let me know if there's another affirmation that resonates. And then we'll move to Minty. So real quick, take out your phone and go to minty.com, use this code. We just kind of want to see where we are, how we feel about these things. So our first Minty question, we just have a few. How do you feel about your car insurance? Do you feel like you're paying too much and you don't know why? Do you feel like I'm getting the most out of my policy? I'm doing it. Or do you feel like I have car insurance just because I have to have it? The state said I had to, so I just have to have it. And you could choose more than one if it resonates. So I'm going to take it to, and it should be updated in real time. So go to minty.com and then type in that code. And we can see what everybody's saying. All right, we have some folks saying, I'm paying too much, but not sure why. Me too. And I have it just to have it. All right. Carol, I would assume you fall in the middle. You get the most out of your policy.
Yes, definitely.
I would hope so. Awesome. All right, got a few more coming through. Love that. All right, then I'm gonna skip to the next one. We can get into the good stuff. Have you ever been in a car accident? So this is anonymous, not to be all in y'all personal business, but this is just to kind of level set to see, what we've all experienced collectively. And it looks like a lot of us have been in car accidents. Hope we've recovered physically, financially, emotionally from these car accidents. But good to know that so many of us have been, well, not good to know that it's good, but it's helpful to know that we're kind of in the same boat and learning from each other. So, all right. So diving on in to my story, y'all. Y'all, and I gotta look at y'all. I gotta see Carol. Y'all. Okay, let me tell y'all the story real quick. And this happened recently, okay? I was driving to the office. It was a beautiful Friday. If you guys can mute your devices, it sounds like I hear somebody. Okay. I was driving to the office, Beautiful Friday morning, great energy. I'm hyped and I'm listening to Waka Flocka. Like I'm blasting the music. And yeah, singing. I'm going back to my college days, having a great time. And then I get rerouted. I think I missed my exit and I get rerouted. And despite me not knowing where I'm going, I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out. So I turn and I get back on the highway and the music is still blasting. Carol, don't come for me, Carol, because you would be ashamed. Music is blasting. And then I'm at this intersection that I'm usually on the way, because I got rerouted, I'm usually coming this way, right? And so I realized I'm coming this way this time, and I said, oh, wait, I was supposed to yield. And it was another car like zoom past. And I was this close to causing a car accident because of Waka Flocka. Yes, close. Waka Flocka had me in trouble almost. And I just was so grateful that I did not cause an accident, but I know I was in the wrong. I know I was not paying as much attention. I was distracted because of the music. I was distracted because I was like, oh man, I missed my exit, trying to figure it out on my own without turning my GPS on. A hot mess. I learned I need to pay attention when I'm on the road. So that's kind of what inspired. Well, actually, funny enough, we had already decided what this topic was going to be. And then this happened, and I was just like, look at life teaching me.
Yeah.
Teaching me. So I'm sorry, Carol. I know better.
I'm glad you're fine.
I know better. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again because this experience had me being like, I need to pay attention. And so Carol's gonna help us pay attention. So the cost of not paying attention will cause you it has a mental cost. So your regret. I was feeling very regretful, like throughout the whole day. I'm like, why would I do that? Like I know better. And I usually be judging people because I come that way. I judge people who don't yield. And here I am, not yielding. Crazy. Fear and stress, like thinking about what if, annoyance, frustration. I felt all of that day. Financial cost if you get in an accident. So thank goodness I did not get in an accident, but would have had to pay for my deductible and also pay other out-of-pocket costs if I didn't have enough insurance. So my peace of mind is too valuable. Your peace of mind is too valuable to not be paying attention when you're driving and paying attention to your car insurance policy. So that's a part of why we really wanted to focus on this today in our car insurance orientation, to really get into like, we have to pay attention. So I'm gonna tee it up to Carol to tell us, how do we pay more attention? Now, I know we need to, but like, what are some of the actual steps to pay more attention when we're driving and also when we're assessing our insurance policy?
So yeah, I think this is the perfect place to start, because so many people are always thinking, why is my insurance so high? Why is this going on? But they need to start with the baby steps. Just this, paying attention. My Monday mornings start the same way almost every single week. I've got a bunch of phone calls to return or a bunch of emails to respond to about clients that have been in car accidents. So needless to say, you're stressed out, number one, that you've had the car accident. Your car's damaged, you're possibly injured, you're worried about the other person if you were at fault in the accident. And then the big kicker, the stress of trying to figure out whether or not you are going to be sued because of an accident. So all that plays one factor into the reason why we need to pay attention. But the other thing is the out-of-pocket expense. Is my car insurance going to go up? Do I have the deductible? I just put my kids back in school, or I just paid my house note. Now I've got to come out of pocket with this deductible. I've got to get my car in the shop. Do I have the proper protections of, getting a rental car and all these things? So much starts cycling through your mind over and over again. So I always told people when I'm starting with a new client, start with the basics. remember to pay attention. When I was learning to drive, my dad said to me, the rearview mirror is not the same thing as your makeup mirror. You get in the car to drive. Don't try to apply any eyeliner or any lipstick. No taking out hair curlers or trying to see if your curls are falling and all of that. And that was his way of setting the stage to tell me, number one, you are driving a machine that's thousands of pounds in weight. There's so much damage that you can do to yourself, to someone else, and to this car, and it can happen in a flash. So I tell young drivers, hey, if you are addicted to your phone, put it away, silence it, or turn on some sort of messaging on your screen that'll tell somebody that you're driving. I was sharing earlier that for some reason, when social media really got started, I felt like I had to be on my phone constantly. Oh, did they like this? Oh, I want to see what they said about that. Oh, look at this profile picture. That I literally had to start putting my cell phone in the glove compartment so that I was not touching it every single time that I got in the car, came to a stoplight. So those are the kinds of things that we want to really focus on, making sure your seat is adjusted before you start on the interstate, or making sure your mirrors are where they need to be. And especially being mindful of driving in areas that you are not familiar with. I know all of us have probably had situations where we're driving to a girlfriend's new house or going to meet somebody at a new restaurant, and you're on an unfamiliar street. You're thinking you're going straight, and then all of a sudden the road curves, it goes down a hill, the speed limit changes. So those are reasons to be mindful so that we are not putting ourselves in unnecessary jeopardy in terms of having an accident, speeding at the wrong time, being distracted by other things. Because we have to remember that machine that we are driving, not only are we driving for ourselves, we're watching for the people to the left of us, those coming ahead at us, and so forth and so on. I had a client that said I just looked down for a second. I was putting on eyeliner and a car was coming at her. And even though she would not have been at fault in the accident, the car veered out of its lane and was headed at her head on. So that minor distraction could have resulted in a terrible accident had she not looked up as quickly as she did. So those are the great reasons to pay attention. So again, we want to make sure we're not distracted by phone. We're not listening to Waka Flocka on the highest setting on our radios. We are mindful about how to work the gadgets in our car, especially when you're in a rental car, knowing where the windshield wipers are, the turn signals, making sure our mirrors are properly adjusted, our seats are elevated such that we can navigate the streets properly without any issues, and not texting and driving. So those are the things that I want to make sure that we know, but we're just mindful of as we are continuing to drive.
Absolutely. I am guilty of so many, but it's okay. No judgment. That self-awareness, we're moving forward. So thank you for that, Carol. And if you could talk a bit about how to pay attention to your insurance policy. So thanks for that insight into while driving, but what should we be kind of paying attention and looking at as it relates to our insurance policy?
Absolutely. So just like we have credit reports that tell us about, how well we've paid Macy's or Citibank and all those things, there's another report that's called a LexisNexis report. We as insurance carriers, we use them quite frequently to kind of assess where people are in terms of what kind of rates they'll receive. But you can also get that information to make sure that your report is correct. You want to make sure that even if I was driving Lauren's car and I had the accident, that Lauren is not being affected by me as the driver. Now, she may be affected by the fact that I had an accident in her car, but it should not also associate her as the driver. So the LexisNexis report is something you can use, and you can check it just like you check your credit report to make sure that your insurance information is correct when it comes to claims. So you're not going to find anything about tickets, but you will find things about claims, whether it's a comprehensive claim, and we'll get into that more deeply next week, or whether it's a collision claim. I'm talking to a client and I say, well, ABC Insurance said that you were involved in an accident in December of 2021. Tell me about that. And the first thing, people will holler is, I wasn't in an accident. And they go, oh yeah, I remember my brother was
Mm.
driving my car, but the claim for some reason has been improperly recorded. And so now it's reflecting the wrong driver. The accident may have actually happened, but we want to make sure that it reflects the proper driver and also the proper amount that you believed that your insurance company paid out on the claim, because that too can have an impact on how your rates are calculated, and even in some cases determine whether or not you're eligible with certain companies based on the type of accident that has occurred.
Mhm.
Another thing that you want to do, sometimes people don't go back and visit their insurance policies. Under the Thank Me Later community, that's one thing that's always encouraged by Janai and her team, is to check different things, your credit report, check your insurance policy. And the reason being is that if you started off with a policy 10 years ago for your brand new car, and then you're fast forwarding 10 years later and you're like, why am I still paying all this money? And then you're like, I've got this high deductible. Why do I need all of this? Should I check these things? And the answer is absolutely yes. 10, 15 years ago, your car could have been worth $20,000. Well, fast forward 10, 15 years later, it may be only worth $2,000 or $3,000. So do you still need those same protections that you had 15 years ago? Now, uniquely, everybody's situation is going to be different, but that's one of the things that you want to make sure that you check. Do I still need these things, or do I need to add more coverage? Lyft and Uber are popular ways to earn money these days. So now you're thinking, okay, I used to just use my car to drive back and forth to my job at IBM or Coca-Cola. Now I'm also supplementing some efforts to make more money, and I'm driving for Uber. Well, there's certain protections you need to have in place when you are doing those types of things. So that's another, okay, aha moment. I need to make sure that my insurance company knows what I'm doing with this vehicle. I suggest, I don't care what kind of policy it is, to review it annually. At least in those instances, you are able to kind of give yourself a certain date where you're definitely checking your policy to find out whether or not there's certain discounts you can start to look forward to, or is my insurance premium going to escalate based on a car accident that I had, or do I need to back some of these coverages off? Am I getting ready to add another driver? Did I recently get married? How is my new husband's driving record going to affect my premium? Do I have to add my new spouse? I'm thinking about moving. Is that going to impact my insurance rate? I'm thinking about purchasing another car. Can I anticipate what that rate will look like? So by doing these types of reviews, and insurance companies, we do them all the time, and they are free. That's what you have us for. You should take advantage of those opportunities.
Yes. Whew, so I need everybody homework assignment for today. Schedule your annual insurance policy review. If you don't have a relationship with your agent, what should they do if they don't have a relationship? They don't have a go-to person like you.
So if you don't have a go-to person, there are a lot of companies that when you call into them, you're not normally calling into an 800 number. You want to tell that person, hey, look, John Doe, look, I've got insurance with you all. I've been with this company for 2 years. I need to review and find out what discounts you all offer. 9 times out of 10, if you start that process and then you call back, you're most likely going to get somebody else. I don't know if they will always have some sort of storage notes to say what they've discussed with you before, but jot down your questions. Make sure you get the answers to those questions. In a situation like me, I work for one company and I have a base of clients. So when they call me, I can say, hey, look, this is where we started, Ms. Ridgway. These are the things that we talked about. Remember last year you said you were thinking about getting a new Tesla and you want to know how that's going to impact your rate. Well, let me tell you what's happened with those rates since we last talked. Also, we talked about you maybe moving from Fayette County, Georgia, into the city of Atlanta. You want to know how that impacts your rate. But before we get there, let's talk about this ticket that you got. Let's discuss whether or not it's going to impact your rate. By doing this, you're able to make more informed decisions about what kind of insurance moves you need to make or what changes you need to include going forward when the policy comes up for renewal or even between a renewal cycle.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much for that insight, Carol, because I think that a lot of you ladies may be in this boat too, where, we're just paying for it. We're not truly maximizing it for all that it's worth. Like, we could be getting so much more. We could be getting discounts, as Carol mentioned. We get, make sure we have the coverage we need in the event that some life happens. So instead of kind of passively just paying for it, treating it as just another bill, Carol's advice will help you, empower you to really leverage it for all that it's worth and make sure that everything that you have is protected. So thank you for that, Carol. All right, so down and dirty. I know we're going to talk about this a bit more next week, but high level, what should we do if we find ourselves in a car accident, and praying that nobody gets into one anytime soon or at all? What should we do if that happened, or a loved one, it happens to a loved one?
I started talking about what to do when you get in a car accident when I start working more with younger drivers, but then I realized I need to share the same kind of information about a car accident with my mom, with my girlfriends, with the guy that I'm dating, whatever the case may be. And that most people, they don't really know what to do. First of all, if you're in a car accident, you're going to be stressed out. You probably were on your way somewhere, be that home or going to the grocery store or trying to get to somebody's wedding. Now you're in a car accident. You're all panicked. You don't know what to do. So first thing, don't admit fault. Just because you hit somebody does not mean that you are the person at fault. Did they fail to yield the right of way because they listened to Waka Flocka? Were they speeding and then you could not slow down, or did they run the red light? That sort of thing. So the first thing is never admit fault. Kind of center yourself and just be prepared to just record the facts. So don't admit fault. You want to call the police. Make sure you've pulled over somewhere safely if that is a possibility, if the car is drivable and or if traffic is safe enough for you to navigate over to a safe spot. You want to call your insurance agent, and you really, really want to take notes. We've got so much technology at our hands that if possible, record it on your phone. Hey, it's August 10th, it's about 7:25 p.m. I've just been in an accident. I'm on Interstate 285. I've just passed Cascade Road. It's sunny outside. The car that struck me was a gray Honda Accord, tag number, whatever the case may be. Tag number is important, because what if that person leaves the scene? Then you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I just know it was a Honda. Was it an Accord? Oh, I don't know. So tag number is important. Then kind of just narrate what happened. I was on 285. I was in the right lane. Car sideswiped me, changing lanes. Okay, that's good enough, because 2-3 days later, when you're trying to narrate this back to your insurance agent or to the claims department, you've got all the facts. You've either got it on a notepad or you've got it recorded on your phone and say, hey, look, I've got it all recorded here. I just made myself some notes. So that helps you, number one. But moreover, say, for instance, you think, oh my God, I had that accident August 10th. 11 months later, you get served with some lawsuit papers. Somebody's trying to sue you about this accident. Now you're trying to remember, okay, now what all happened? I told my insurance company about it. Are there any particular facts that would help me out more? Well, you're not necessarily going to remember all of that. So if you've got it jotted down and you've saved that in a safe space, be that on your phone or you've got a notepad that you've written it on, you've got some leverage to say, hey, Carol, when I called you and told you about this accident, I also remembered, or I also have recorded, that my light was in fact green. I did not run through the intersection. The other guy did. So maybe we need to use this based on this lawsuit that I've received. Not to say that that's going to happen, but in my mind as an insurance representative, I'm always thinking, what if? What if they come back sometime later and say, oh my God, when I was in the accident, I damaged my neck and now my knee is damaged. But you remember them jumping up and down, acting a fool with you about the accident. And so you're going to say, well, at the scene, when the officer asked, she said she was okay. I've even got video of her walking around and talking and kind of bobbing through traffic. So, you've got something more. So I always say, Your best friend is either going to be a notepad and an ink pen in the event of an accident, or your cell phone. The reason I indicate that maybe having an ink pen and the notepad available, because if you're in an accident, you don't know where your phone went. It could be up under the seat. You just mainly want to be able to get to something quickly. You can open up that glove box, pull out that notepad, grab that ink pen, and start jotting down some notes. And especially while you're waiting on the officer to arrive, you've got more time to say, now exactly where am I? Okay, I'm not familiar with this area, but there's a McDonald's over there. There's a four-way stop sign here. You start noting what you know about the scene, because in the event of a lawsuit, attorneys know what to do. And if they're trying to nail you with the situation, they've already done a scene investigation. Now you're sitting there scratching your head saying, okay, but what was on the left side of me? Was it sunny? What? But if you've got extra details that can help yourself, then better for you. And the same thing if it's in the reverse. If you're not at fault and somebody's trying to pin it on you, no, I did not run the intersection. I clearly remember the light was green. There was a pickup truck to the right of me. I remember slowing down because traffic was slowing ahead of me. You know, whatever the situation is, you just want to make sure that you're prepared. So that's my best advice when you're involved in an accident. Try your best to center yourself, calm yourself down, grab your notepad, or if you can, your phone, take pictures, record yourself talking on that day, because at least you've got that screenshotted on that day, August 10th, 7:35 p.m. It can't be altered. So you've got something that will help your case, whether you're at fault or not at fault.
That was a gem. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Because it's leveraging what we have, like keeping a small notepad. That's so simple, but so impactful. Or using your phone if you can, you know. So thank you for that, of letting us know what to do. And so I stopped sharing my screen just so I can see your face. And in case we try to repurpose this, and I'm like, I don't want to be talking to a screen the whole time. So ladies, we will have this replay of this in the community, including these slides. So this is just what Carol just talked through about what to do if you get into a car accident, or if you know someone that does. So following these steps, and then she did walk through the notes that you should take if you got it. So just to kind of recap, their license plate, if you can see it, the car color, the brand, the time of day, the weather, which side of the car did the vehicle hit, how the accident happened, such as, you know, I was driving straight, the car hit me on the left side. So just to reiterate Carol's point, want to capture like a diary of what happened so that you could use that to protect yourself if you ever need to, and you could just use that for the insurance claim as well. Awesome. So almost done with our content for tonight, and then we'll jump into Q&A. Last mentee question of the night: rate your level of confidence in filing an insurance claim. So I'm gonna skip to that. So you can bring out your phones again, go to menti.com and type in this code and let us know how you feel. So there's 3 different options. We have, I feel confident about filing an insurance claim. I know a little bit about filing an insurance claim. I have no clue how to file an insurance claim. So wherever you fall, no judgment, we're gonna figure it out. I think I know a little bit. I mean, I know a lot more having learned from Carol, but this is me 3 weeks ago. I knew a little bit about it. All right, so what do we have? We have a lot of folks saying that they know a little bit about filing an insurance claim, so that's a good foundation. Some folks say they feel confident about it, so that's great for you guys. And then a few saying, I have no clue, and that's okay, because Carol's about to tell us everything we need to know. So thank you guys for your engagement on that. And this is our last slide of the night. Carol, I'll cue it up to you. And put you on the side.
So filing an insurance claim is pretty simple. Just remember that a claim is just simply your statement of facts of what occurred. So all you have to do is just simply state that. What date did it happen on? Oh, it happened on August 10th. Give me the time of day. 7:45 p.m. Were you driving, Carol? Yes, I was. Or were you driving, Carol? No, I was in the car with my girlfriend. Miss Ridgway was driving. I wasn't feeling well, so she was driving my car. Simply state the facts. Carol, what happened in the accident? I was traveling north on 285, going towards exit 16, when a car cut off in front of me and then stopped suddenly, and I hit the back of the car. Okay, were you able to stop? I slid into the back of the car. Did I bump into the back of the car? Did I slam into the back of the car? So all those things make a difference. I slid into the back of a car. Or I know he just cut me off. I slammed into the back of the car. These types of things make a difference. They make a difference when we're trying to assess injury claims. They make a difference when we're trying to see if I am totally at fault for hitting the back of someone. They make a difference when we are trying to figure out if maybe another car cut the other car off. You know, we're just trying to assess everything. So again, you want to just state the facts. You want to just give those details. Use your notepad. Say, hey, look, I got these notes. I've got this video. The claims department will even ask you if you received a citation or if the other driver received the citation. That tells us how we are going to start our claims process. Are we handling the claim as if I'm at fault, or are we handling the claim as if the other driver is at fault? It also makes a difference in this standpoint, because if I've called my insurance company and say, hey, I was involved in an accident, and my agent says, were you at fault in the accident? Did you get the citation? And I say, no. The other driver got the citation, then maybe I need to leave my insurance company out of it for that moment. And I can work with the other carrier because I want them to handle the damages to my car. It makes a difference also if I say, no, I was not at fault in the accident, but the officer has advised me that the driver that hit me did not have insurance. So then again, does that insert my insurance company all over again? So again, our little notepad or our phone call or our video is going to make doing this process a whole lot easier. So again, you can make a phone call. You can go into your agent's office if you have a relationship with an agent. And now you can even file claims online. Everything, you know, has some kind of claims process online. And again, just having your notes will help you navigate that process with ease. So that's the simple part of filing a claim.
It's simpler than I thought.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought
really
it was
easy
like
process.
a little harder than that. Thank you for that. All right. So just to kind of wrap up, we've talked all about car insurance. Carol has been a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much, Carol. Last year we did cover homeowners and renters insurance. Carol led us through how to do a home inventory, how to create a video of capturing what you own so you can prove it, so that if a flood happens, if some life happens, you can get reimbursed for what is lost. And if you have not documented it, it's going to be hard to prove it. So Lauren's going to drop in the chat some of those resources in the community so that you can watch me play. And yeah, so, and also the insurance guide for all things insurance. And now it's time for Q&A. So I'll start sharing my screen and I'm going to take it from the top to see. Okay, so, and if you guys do want to take yourself off of mute and ask your question live, feel free to like raise your hand and I'll call on you shortly. Okay, so Kay Frazier, hey Kay, she asks, hi, I have a beater car that I use for work. I don't need full coverage. Is liability enough?
Okay. So if you have a car and you're not worried about the value of that vehicle, so like you said, it's just, I just want this car to get me to and from work, you may not need the comprehensive and collision protections. So liability in your case may be enough. The one thing that you want to consider is, if I lose this car, so if it's stolen or a tree falls on it, or I have an accident where I'm at fault, am I willing to lose the vehicle itself? And if that answer is yes, then yeah, liability is simply enough. What you then must assess is, do you have enough liability protection for yourself?
Awesome. Next question is from Kiana. She said, Carol, I have State Farm. Can you be my agent?
Your agent is probably going to be ready to scream at you. I always tell people this, your insurance agent should be somebody that you have a relationship with. So if you have not established a relationship with the agent, give them an opportunity. They've tried to earn your business. However, I always tell anybody, you need to be satisfied where you spend your money. And I don't care what that's for, whether it's for your insurance, whether it's where you shop for groceries, where you buy gas. Get what you need out of the relationship. I am happy to be anybody's agent, but I'm certain that your State Farm agent wants to keep you. But if you're dissatisfied, whether it's me or somebody else, find the agent that fits you. And even if the company for that matter.
Thank you, Carol. All right. So next up, Crystal asks, hi, I'm trying to see if I picked the right car insurance. How and what can I do to see if you get the best car? I just recently got a new car a week ago. A tree fell on my car and my current insurance is totally out. Trying to see if I got the best one.
Okay, so what you've just described is what we call a comprehensive incident. So think of comprehensive as being anything other than collision. So you didn't run into anything, and anything other than maintenance of the car. So we're not going to do your oil change and all that. So comprehensive does include vandalism, a tree falling on your car, a rock hitting your windshield, the vehicle being stolen. So those types of things. So now what you're thinking about is, we are going to pay the value of the car, not what you paid for. And so that's where a lot of people also run into some difficulties with insurance. So if I've purchased a car for $15,000, but all the data shows that the car is only worth $10,000, the insurance company owes you $10,000 minus your deductible. So there are other ways around that if you have what's called gap insurance, but that's on the finance insurance side of it. So you always want to make sure that you have the protection for that particular vehicle. And that is a conversation that you would have with your agent when insuring that car. I paid $26,000 for my car. The value is $26,000. In the event of an accident, what happens? And so your agent would be able to explain that entire process to you. So keep in mind that works for your auto side with the comprehensive coverage, and it also plays a role in the collision protections for your car. I would suggest going over your coverages line by line and saying to your agent, if I hit a person and they had the exact same car that I have, do I have enough insurance? That starts to give you an idea as to whether or not you have enough coverage. So you're saying, if I have a 2021 BMW and I hit somebody with the 2021 BMW, does my policy look like it can protect me in the event that I'm at fault in the accident? And I can tell you, if you've got state minimum coverage, you don't have enough protection. If you total out somebody's Range Rover or somebody's Cadillac, or in this day and age, somebody's Toyota Camry, generally state minimum protections is not enough. So think worst case scenario. Don't think, oh, I just sideswiped somebody. What if this is the one day you've totaled out somebody's car? Do you have enough coverage? And so those are the types of coverages that questions that you're asking regarding coverage.
Thank you for that. Crystal, I see your hand raised, and I know that question was just yours. So I'm going to give you opportunity if you want to elaborate, or if you had another question, feel free to. The floor is yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. This recently happened to me. Right now, I did end up getting fortunately, I had to get a new car because a dead tree fell on it. And where I got my loan from, my bank told me I can get the insurance through them. And my other question is, I've been looking up the reviews for this insurance that I did decide to go with them because I combined my renter's insurance and my car insurance. I don't see good reviews of the insurance I got.
Okay.
And I'm in the other insurance I have, there was not a problem, but after this situation, I thought about from last year, I got to rethink my coverage, everything from, covering a new car. So that's where my struggle is right now. I'm trying to make sure I got the right one, but it's cheaper than my new insurance, than my current insurance. Say my insurance did go up because of the car that I got. And yeah, that's my struggle right now. It's like I'm going through YouTube and Google and trying to get the right one. And due to my expenses, I don't want to pay so much, but because this definitely put me in a bind because I paid the car off 2 years ago.
Okay,
So
so what I would suggest that you do is don't do one-stop shopping. So you already know there's a certain area where you want to try to keep your coverages and your payment. First of all, you don't want to just have the cheapest. And the cheapest is fine if it's the best that you can afford. So you want to take a list of companies. Say you check with State Farm, and you also check with Geico. You check with Mercury Insurance, and just go down the gamut. Even check with your insurance commissioner's office and say, what are the better companies in my area? What may work for somebody in Pennsylvania may not be the same best company for somebody that's in Florida. So you want to look at those things to see where you are. I always tell people insurance is just like your fingerprint. What works for me is not going to work for Lauren. It's not going to work for Beverly. It's going to be different for everybody. So you can't just say, well, my girlfriend's got the same car. She's with State Farm or Allstate. I should just go with them. That's not true. It is not true. Choosing your insurance company should be like doing an interview. You pick the best one based on what your needs are and the new car that you have. So I would say if where you are right now, so you know you've got some coverage, take the time and say, I'm going to try 3 insurance companies today to get some quotes. I'm going to try 3 more tomorrow. Then maybe out of this room of 6, I'll pick the best one. The one that you select may be $10 higher, but it may be $50 less. And it's the best coverage for you at that point.
Okay, yeah, 'cause that's my thing. I've been looking, getting different quotes, and I'm just like, based on my budget. And also I want to make sure I have good coverage completely, for roadside assistance and everything from down to glass. And I saw something new that I never seen before is full, it was extra $10 to cover the total loss of the full car. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's something I've never seen
this.
before.
I would suggest, it sounds to me that based on what your questions are, you need a company that has an actual agent assigned to it, not just an 800 number, because you really need somebody to tell you, this is what I'm looking for. Tell me your best price for these options. So you need to check with those companies that actually have agents. That would be my recommendation. That's what I would suggest for you. I always say, there's sometimes that I can go to urgent care because, it's just a mosquito bite. Well, there's sometimes that I feel like there's something wrong with my heart. I need a cardiologist. So you've got to get what you need. And that's why there's certain times where trying to do what you've done in the past or do what your friends have done or your coworkers have done, it's not going to work for you. You need somebody that you can say, Carol, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I just experienced. Are you the right fit? And let me say, hey, I'm not the right fit for you, but what I would suggest you do is try company B, company C, and company D. And I will always say to you, I tell people all the time, I'm not the right fit for you right now. This is who I would suggest if it was me in your situation. And having somebody to me say that means more than somebody just trying to get my money, because they've tried to give me exactly what I said I needed.
Okay, thank you, because that made me feel better, because even talking to the guy, it's 800, I'm just like, can I find an agent around here so I can just talk to you before I already made a decision, but I can always change my mind. So I changed my mind, I'm going somewhere else. Absolutely. For things. So yeah, thank you. That helped me out tonight, because I was waiting for this session for today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in, Crystal. Glad that was helpful. See you ladies with your hands up. I'm going to get to you in 1 second. Just kind of want to zip through, kind of rapid fire these questions in the chat. Probably it'll take about 15 more minutes of Carol's time. Thank you for being here and being generous with your time, Carol. All right, so Kay Frazier asks, in certain cities such as Philadelphia, the cops won't even come to the scene of it if it isn't a major accident. Is there a need to go to the precinct to file a claim?
Well, so there's certain situations, and you're right. When COVID came about, I saw this happening more often where officers were not reporting to the scene. So there again, you've got record that you called the police, so you've got your 911 record. That'll show that, hey, Crystal did actually call the police. That's when that notepad and all that other information becomes important. That's also when it becomes important to go ahead and call your agent, because while you're still at that scene, you can say, I called the police. They told me they are not coming out. I called the police at 8:02 p.m. This is the information on the other vehicle. And then go ahead and narrate the facts to your agent or to that claims department. You've got the information. The good thing is now, most insurance companies have 24-hour service. So you're not sitting there saying, oh my God, Carol's already gone for the day. I won't be able to tell her this until tomorrow. Well, if you call Carol's office or you call Geico or you call Progressive or Liberty Mutual, they've got situations now where there's somebody still there available to record the facts. The main thing is that you've taken the extra measure of jotting down the information. So in your situation, being there in Philadelphia, if the police are not coming on the scene, that is also part of your narration. You're going to say, I called the police, but they said it's minor. I'm recording this. I'm going to take as much video as I can. And then you've got still the information available to your insurance company, or if something else should come up at a later date, you've got that proof as well.
Thank you for that. Next question is from Nina. She asks, if you're not at fault in an accident and didn't receive a citation, should you also contact your car insurance to inform them of the accident?
I have clients that call me all the time and say, hey, look, Carol, I was in an accident. I was not at fault. The person that hit me had John Doe insurance. I'm just letting you know. I like when clients do that, because then I can go ahead and just make a little log notes and, hey, look, Nina called me. She was in a car accident. Because then if Nina later finds out that the person that hit her, that their insurance lapsed for non-payment of premium and they had no coverage on the day, then I'm ready to move forward. Nina's already told me what's happened. I know that her back bumper was damaged. I know that she did hurt her knee because our knee hit the dash of the car. I also know that Nina had 2 passengers in the car. They seemed to be okay. I also know that she knows where she wants to have her car repaired, and that she's got rental car coverages. So when she calls me, I'm able to add some more reassurance. You don't have to, you're not making a report. What you're doing is just putting your agent on notice that there was an incident.
All about being proactive, it sounds like. Awesome. Next question is from Bianca. She said, hi, Carol, do you service the Texas area?
No. So the thing about insurance is it varies from state to state. So Texas has an insurance commissioner that says, okay, to be an agent here, you have to do A, B, C, and D. So no, I'm not. I'm captive for one insurance company in one state. So I only write for the state of Georgia. And I can write from the top of Georgia all the way to the bottom of Georgia, but I only write in one state. If you are looking for an agent and you're considering a certain company, I would say do the same thing. First of all, give your agent an opportunity. Secondly, check with people in your area to see who they have coverage with. And then also the insurance commissioner for any state is always a great resource to find out about who the better company is in a given area.
Thank you for that. All right, a few more questions. Tyrion asks, I'm looking for new car insurance. May I get a quote from State Farm?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're in the state of Georgia and you want to get a quote, I'm more than happy to do so. If you're not in Georgia, or if you prefer not to have to talk to somebody like, myself at the time, you can go online and you can start the quote process. That's the great thing about technology now. So you can check the rates of 3 different companies all at the same night, and then go back and call these companies and say, hey, look, I started my quote online, but I need some more information. Have I gotten all the discounts that are available to me? Can you tell me other ways that I can save on this particular quote from you? What are you all anticipating a rate increase in the next 6 months or the next year? So all of those things are questions you can go back and ask once you've started to do some of the process online, if that's your preference, or you can definitely call into anybody's office to do so.
Good to know. All right. Leah's question. If the accident was a year ago, but you were not at fault, can you still file a claim with the at-fault driver's insurance company? There was damage to the vehicle, but it is drivable, and I delayed in filing the claim.
Okay, so let me tell you what happens there. When you delay in filing a claim, it makes it just a little bit harder. So the short answer is yes, you can still file a claim, but the claims department is going to ask you, why did you not file the claim when the accident happened? Because part of the duties of an insurance policy states notify the insurance company of the claim, but it doesn't mean that you will not be compensated for the damages to your vehicle. But what the insurance company is also going to say, hey, by you driving this car, did you make the damages worse? If the bumper was already hanging off and you continue to drive and now it's totally fallen apart, and now the side quarter panel is also waving because you didn't file the claim, you may have caused yourself some unnecessary tense moments with claims. Because I always say this, by and large, for the most part, insurance companies want to pay what they owe. They don't want to pay what they don't owe. So what they're going to be saying, hey, Carol, why didn't you call us? Why didn't you file the claim? And then I'm stuck with saying, well, I don't know. I had a lot going on. I was changing jobs. I was moving cities, and then I kind of lost track of time. I would say be honest about the reasons why you didn't. If you just say, hey, I don't know. My first accident, I didn't know exactly what to do. I didn't have anybody that I could depend on to tell me the next steps to take. Whatever the case may be, give the facts, tell the damages, and then go ahead and file that claim. Sometimes when it gets up to a year, insurance companies will be like, well, Don, we closed the file. It doesn't mean that they cannot reopen it, but it's just sometimes harder to do. And then sometimes if it goes beyond that year, they can say this file is permanently closed. We reached out to you, there was no response.
That's good to know. All right, wrapping up Q&A. Ladies, I see you guys with your hands up. Let me just answer this one more question, ask this one more question, and then we'll get to you and we'll wrap up. All right, so Dana asked, are there any other insurance companies that offer a rebate of a portion of the premium if no claims are at renewal?
Okay, so that happens with a lot of companies. So sometimes when you're looking at different commercials, they'll say, we have accident forgiveness, or we rebate you if you don't have a claim, or we lower your deductible if you haven't had a claim in a certain time frame. Number one, that's a benefit of the policy. So it's going to cost you more to have that benefit that says I have this decrease in deductible. The second thing is there are certain companies that are called mutual companies, meaning the policy holders share in the profits of the company and not like in the stock market kind of thing. So that gets a little more complicated. So there's several companies like that. You can even ask your insurance company, do you ever send out dividend payments if the company has had a good year? Or what's the benefit that I receive if I remain ticket or accident free for a certain period of time? Generally, it's a period of 3 years, no tickets, no accidents. You start to see a bigger reduction in your rates. Then the next 3 years, you get an even bigger reduction. And then it normally caps out somewhere. So yeah, you should always ask those questions. What's the reward for me being loyal to you as my insurance company?
Love that. All right, Tamika, you're up next. You can take yourself off of mute and ask your question. Thank you for your.
Thank you. So my question is, because I have a 16-year-old and he just has his learners. So should I, with his learners, should I have already added him on our policy as a driver? And any tips for how to keep the insurance down when we do add him? Because we're dreading it.
You're gonna win the prize of the day. So the short answer is no. When you have a learner's permit, you're not a fully licensed driver. But what it does say is, Tamika, when this child gets in the car to drive, he has to be in the car with somebody that is fully licensed, and the car has to be insured. So this is the perfect time for you to start coaching this kid, saying, hey, number one, driving is a privilege. Let's talk about all the ways you can help earn this privilege. You can get a good student discount if the student has a B average in school. You can take a driver's training class, because in addition to mommy and daddy telling you how important it is to be safe, we're going to let this other guy teach you how to drive, and then you will learn all the rules of the road. Ask your insurance company, in addition to good student discount, in addition to driver's training discount, does this company offer any internal discounts for new drivers? Then you're going to also say whether or not the kid is going to have his own car, or will he be sharing in one of the family cars, because that's going to determine how the rates go too. But the biggest point of all is to go ahead, call your insurance company, say, my kid doesn't have his license yet. He will be getting them within the next 12 to 18 months, or whatever your time frame is. What do my rates look like? What do they look like if we add him to one of our existing cars? Or what does it look like if we're going to get him his own Toyota Corolla, or whatever the car is? Then from there, Tamika, what I would definitely suggest is assess what types of coverages you need. That's the one thing we all send ourselves out into the world. So I just need to get some insurance, but we're not telling ourselves how much coverage we need. That's when you start sitting down saying, how much, what's the maximum liability I can get? Now let's back down into it and see where my budget fits, so I'll know exactly what I can afford, but also get what I need.
Okay, thank you, because we're dreading it.
Oh yeah, and I will tell you this, y'all, just tip of the day. Guys are hired to insure as young drivers than girls. So the guy between the ages of 16 and 20 is going to pay more for his insurance than a young lady that's between that same age group.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. Tamika, I just dropped in the chat, and any other ladies that resonate with Tamika's question, Carol's TML real life episode about teen driving. So you can get more information about it there. And then when we launch the book, you definitely are going to want to read her chapter there. It's speaking right to you. So thank you for your question, Tamika. And Dee, you can take yourself off of mute and ask your question. Thank you for your patience as well.
Hello, ladies. I was trying to figure out how to take myself off. So I've been listening while I've been shopping and stuff, and I couldn't hear, or if you mentioned, I found out later on in life about if you pay your premium up front, it's much cheaper than paying every month. I did not know that. And I'm 44. So, when we were younger, we listened to our parents. Once you get over 25, once you get over 30, your insurance going to be cheaper. I said, where is the savings? I have not had any accidents. I don't have a ticket that I've had in a while. I'm like, I moved from Oklahoma to Florida and my insurance shot up. I said, wait. I don't understand what's going on here. I remember my parents was talking, once you get older, your insurance get cheap. I need to see some cheap insurance.
So let me tell you, the lesson that mommy and daddy taught you used to be true, no longer true. So first of all, state rates, insurance rates vary by state. You're right. Oklahoma's traffic's not like it is in Orlando, Florida, or Miami, Florida. Oklahoma's crime may not be like it is in Sarasota, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, or Tampa, Florida. So those are the things that impact our rate. That's the first thing. So one of the things that we always talk about in TML is that where you live impacts your rate. That's the first thing. My grandfather used to always say, oh, this truck is old now, this insurance rate should be lower. That does not necessarily play the same way that it did in 1976, 1982. Now rates are based on losses in a given area, because what we're all doing is sharing in the risk of paying for somebody else's accident. So that's how it goes. So D, yes, you're probably paying for somebody else's accident right about now. But the same thing, if you ever have an accident, somebody is paying for yours. And that's what I always have to share with clients. It's not exactly what you want to hear, but it may also be that what insurance company you had in Oklahoma may not sit well or serve you well in Florida. You may have to do some shopping around. Then that's when we always talk about that in annual review. Ask them, when am I entitled to another discount? What does that look like? Are you all anticipating a rate increase in the next 6 months? If yes, how much? What happens if I raise my deductible on collision, but maybe lower it on comprehensive? What happens if I take a defensive driving course? And big now with insurance companies is this thing called telematics, where they give you a lower rate for safe driving and or low annual mileage. Talk to your agent about how you use your car. You've got 2 cars. Well, this other car only drive on the weekends, and I probably drive it less than 5,000 miles a year. Am I entitled to a low annual mileage discount? What about the fact that some insurance companies say if the car is garaged, literally in a garage, maybe you get a discount. Sometimes being a homeowner versus a renter makes a difference in your rate. Making sure that the accidents that were listed in your report are not negatively affecting you, meaning the information is correct. So we talked about LexisNexis reports before. So what you want to do is do a complete review, and this is the perfect time to do it. What we do know in this country as a whole is that inflation is affecting everything. So it's going to likely affect how much we pay for the car itself and for the insurance. So now this is when you decide, who do I want to date? Do I want to date State Farm? Do I want to date Allstate? Do I want to date Geico? Do I want to date Progressive? And whoever you date is based on you in particular. I don't have any tickets or accidents. I live in a gated community. I took a defensive driving course. My car is paid for. I'm not sure if I need all this coverage anymore. So you're really going line by line, trying to figure out why your premiums are where they are, and then if that particular company fits you still.
Thank you.
Wow. I need to do my annual policy review.
Yes,
I
yes.
need to be saving money, making sure I got the coverage I need. That was so helpful, Carol. And Dee, thank you for your question. That was really great. We all are trying to save more money, but still make sure we have the coverage that we have balanced. So thank you, for that. Well, we are at the end of our Money Mindset Masterclass. Thank you all for joining. We hope that has been super helpful and that you continue to engage with us in the Thank Me Later community. So as a reminder, next Wednesday, so a week from today, we're going to start at 7:30 though. We'll be live in studio talking about car insurance, but we're going in deeper. We're talking about deductibles. We're talking about scenarios, what to do if you get hit by an uninsured or underinsured driver. We're making sure you understand the different types of coverages. As Carol mentioned, comprehensive, collision, liability. What does all this mean? We are going to make sure you ladies know it all. So tune in next week. Lauren, if you can drop in the chat the RSVP. So make sure you guys RSVP so that you can get the reminders and the links. And thank you again, Carol. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you all. I've really, really enjoyed this. I look forward to next week. And again, I will just say, if you go back and listen to this Zoom meeting and kind of start really taking an assessment of your personal insurance, it will be helpful. If you have questions and there's a way for you all to get in touch with me, I would love to help you. It's not about me earning a client. It's about making sure that we are protected and we are armed with the information that we need to make informed decisions. I think this platform is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad to help in any way that I can.
Awesome. And you can engage with Carol in the community. She has a profile just like the rest of you ladies. So to be able to engage with her, please y'all get to the community, type in her name and shoot her a DM so that you can get your questions and your help. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. You ladies have a great night, and we hope to see you next week. Bye, Carol.
Bye-bye.